Everyone, welcome back to Continental Food and Cake TV. If it's your first time here, you are highly welcome. My name is Joy. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to frost double-decker cake and also decorate. If you're interested in learning how to frost the cake with buttercream and also decorate, please keep watching. If you're new here, you've not subscribed, please subscribe. I upload video every week from cooking to baking. There's a lot going on in this channel you don't want to miss out. Subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you're not going to miss out. This video is part 2. In part 1, I cut the cake and stacked the cake. So you might have to watch the part 1 video to understand what I'm doing. But I'm going to put the link in the description box for part 1. Please go and watch it. To frost the cake, you need buttercream. And buttercream, what makes buttercream is the icing sugar and butter. So that's the buttercream. I'm mixing it together to avoid any bubbles. So next, I'm going to spread it on top of the cake. So with frosting the cake, you can start from the top, you can start from the bottom. Sometimes I start from the bottom depending on what I'm feeling. But today I'm starting from the top. After spreading the buttercream on top, I'm going to come to the side and work my way down. And with the buttercream, the first layer, I'm going to spread it thin, then go back the second time. After spreading the cake with the buttercream, making sure it's covered completely with the buttercream, the next step is to scrape the cake, and with a bench scraper, I'm going to scrape around the cake, the top, the side, scrape it. At this point, it doesn't have to be smooth because I'm going to go the second time with the buttercream to cover the cake again. In baking, what we call this is crumb coat. So that's what I'm doing. I hope I pronounce it well. So now I'm going the second time with the buttercream. So because I'm working with a frozen cake, I just went in straight away. If it wasn't a frozen cake, I have to put it in the fridge, allow it to settle or to firm for 15 minutes. But with a frozen cake, you don't need to waste time because this cake, I put it in the freezer for 1 hour. So I can just do it twice the same time without going back and forth in the fridge. So that's why I prefer working with frozen cake. If you're worried that the freezer is going to dry up your cake, the freezer does not dry up your cake, because when you put the cake in the freezer and it forms the ice, when the ice dissolves, it's going to add moisture to the cake, so it does not dry up the cake. So you can see me working my way down, making sure that I cover the cake with the buttercream completely. And the cake that I'm frosting today is vanilla sponge cake. After that, with a bench scraper, I'm going to start scraping the buttercream. And at this point, I'm going to make sure I scrape until it's smooth. And with this, you have to take your time if it's your first time, because I'm making this video for people who are trying to decorate cake, people who are learning, you understand? So you really have to take your time doing this, because this video is just 14 minutes, but this took me time. So you want to take your time to do this as a beginner. If it's not smooth, you can go back with the buttercream and fill it up and scrape back and forth. So now you can see me switching up to a plastic scraper because this cake is high. The other scraper is not as high as the cake. So you can see me going back and forth with the buttercream. Anywhere you see that you need to add buttercream, just go back and add the buttercream and scrape. Take your time with this. If it's your first time, it might be a bit tricky. So now I'm scraping the top, and you can see me using the turntable. The turntable is going to do most of the job for you. Just move the turntable around. The turntable is every baker's friend, as I always say. When holding the scraper or the bench scraper, please do not put too much pressure on it, because the pressure you put on it determines the cream that is going to scrape out. So I'm barely putting pressure on it. And also, when scraping the side of the cake, you want to hold your bench scraper straight so that when you finish scraping the cake, your cake will be straight. Next, I have white royal icing, which is called fondant. I want to cover the cake board with fondant, so I'm rolling out the fondant with a roller, roll it till flat. After rolling the fondant, I'm going to take the baking tin that I used to bake the cake. I'm going to place it in the center of the fondant and cut. It's going to serve as a cutter for me. So after that, I'm going to take like a pizza cutter and cut around that. So what I'm going to do with this is to use it to cover the cake board. So that's what I normally do. I use the baking tin that I used to cut out. So you'll see what I'm going to do next. So next I have the cake himself. I'm going to spread some water in the cake board, as this is going to serve as glue when I come with the fondant to cover the cake board. You don't have to do this if you don't want to cover your cake board, but trust me, it makes the cake beautiful. So you can see me placing the fondant on top of the cake to cover the cake board. But remember, my cake is cold, is firm. My buttercream is firm, because I put the cake in the freezer for 1 hour. If your buttercream is not firm, you can't do this. You can't pass it over the cake. What you do is to cut the fondant so that you can just place it in the board. But because I don't want that mark, I don't want that demarcation, so I like to put it straight on top of the cake and pass it over. So you can see me smoothing it with the cake smoother, making sure that the fondant in the cake board is smooth. I transfer the cake to the turning table. This is going to allow me move the cake around and also smooth the cake board with the cake smoother. And while I'm doing that, I have to be careful because I don't want to touch the cake himself, which is the buttercream cake. So you have to be careful with that. So with a sharp knife, I'm going to cut out the excess fondant from the cake board. Cutting out the excess, you can fold it and keep it in a bag for the next cake. You can use it for another cake. So next I have a buttercream blue. I color this with blue. I'm going to use it to decorate the cake. So next I have a piping bag with a star tip. I'm going to scoop the buttercream into the bag, the piping bag, to pipe. So that's the buttercream with the piping bag. So I'm just taking out the one from the tip. So I'm piping now. So with this, I'm just moving my hand round, 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 round. I can't really explain this. Just watch me as I do it. And I'm using a star tip to do this. So I'm just decorating the top of the cake. After piping on top of the cake, the next step is to take the double-sided tape and put in the side of the cake board. This is going to help hold the cake ribbon when I put the cake ribbon. It's a double-sided tape. So I'm going to run it round the cake board. After that, I'm going to take out the top parts before going in with the ribbon himself. The ribbon, I'm going to place it in the side of the cake board. You can see that double-sided tape is going to help hold the ribbon. With this ribbon, you can use blue. You can be creative when you're decorating your cake, but today I'm using white, but you can also use blue. So after that, I'm going to be putting the happy birthday, and with this I cut it out with letter cutter. There is a cutter that has letters on it from A to Z. That's what I use. I did that off camera to save time, and you can also get that to buy in a cake decorating shop. But if you want to pipe happy birthday, you can do that, but I don't like my piping when it comes to happy birthday. I prefer to use the letter cutter to cut out the letters, then place it in the cake board. So after that, I went in with a blue ribbon in the side of the cake. This is just going to add more decoration to the cake. When it comes to decoration, to be honest with you, when I started decorating this cake, I didn't know what I was going for. I was just flowing with what I feel like doing. So with decoration, just do you. You can just be creative. The first time might be difficult, but as I said, practice make perfect. To be honest, I've been doing cake for 7 years. Next, to decorate the cake even the more, I have this star that I cut with also star cutter. I'm placing it in the cake board. This is just going to add more decoration to it. I also put some in the side of the cake, the big star, the small star. I was just flowing with it, to be honest. I don't have any design in mind, and this cake is for my son, so I was just free to do whatever I like. So you can see me placing the star, and I put the number 3 there because he's turning 3 years old, and I'm so excited to be doing cake for him. As I said, please practice make perfect. I'm doing this video for people who want to do cake for their children, or if you're learning how to do cake, practice make perfect. To be honest, practice. To decorate the cake even the more, I went in with marshmallow. So I'm placing that on top of the cake. This is going to add color to the cake, and you know children love marshmallow, so just put it there. Then put the cake topper which says Chukwu came, the Lord is my strength. So that's it. The cake is complete. This is the final result, or the finished result. This is what the cake looks like. Birthday cake for my 3-year-old son, and I'm so excited to do this cake for him. And you can also do this cake for your son, or you can just be creative, change your own design. And if you're learning how to do cake or how to decorate cake, you can also learn from this video. Please check the description box. You're going to find the link on how I cut the cake and stack the cake, and also I'm going to put the link on how to make vanilla sponge cake. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. If you're just passing by, if you're my old subscribers, thank you so much. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. I have a lot of content coming on, from baking to cooking, name it. So please subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you're not going to miss out. Follow me on Instagram, continentalfood.cake. I would love to be your friend. Do not forget to like this video and also write me a comment down there. I would love to read your comment. I love you all, and I will see you in another one. Bye bye.